Today on the podcast, we're going to talk about one of my favorite marketing strategies, which ironically, I haven't really spoken about on this podcast. Not sure why, but had a really good reminder this week to chat to you about it. It is Lumpy Mail. So join me. Hey, welcome to the Small Business Made Simple podcast, brought to you by socialmediaandmarketing.com.au. Being in business is never easy, but it can be simple, or at least simpler. Join me, your host Jen Donovan, every week where we focus on marketing, social media, and working towards simplifying your business. You with me? Let's do this.
Gonna dream it big, 'cause someone out there listening. Everyone's got a voice to give, and it's time I heard you whistling, 'cause there's no point at all, in dreaming small.
Why, hey there, my fabulous listener. Welcome to episode 156 of the Small Business Made Simple podcast. Thank you, as always, for lending me your ears today. I know there's lots of choices out there, and I really do appreciate you making me one of them. If you're enjoying this podcast, I'd love you to take a screenshot and tag me on social media and let me know. That would be so cool to learn a little bit more about who's listening to the podcast. And don't forget, the show notes for this whole episode are available at www.socialmediaandmarketing.com.au/156. Over the past few weeks, I've headed back to Clubhouse, which is a social media app that was all the rage just under 12 months ago here in Australia. For most of us, of course, now we've kind of forgotten about Clubhouse, but I've been hopping back on there with Trace Sheehan, who you met on episode 149, where we talked about marketing together. And I realized that I really do love it over there. I really do still love Clubhouse, and I want to put some more time into it. But it isn't Clubhouse that I actually want to chat to you about today. It was something that we talked about on Clubhouse on Monday that I thought would make a really awesome episode. Oh, and before I forget, if you are on Clubhouse, come and join Tracy and I. We're hanging out on Clubhouse Mondays at 12 noon New South Wales time. So come and join us and talk marketing with us live. That would be awesome. But okay, so what was the strategy? It was Lumpy Mail. Yep, Lumpy Mail. I forgot how much I loved Lumpy Mail. Perhaps you've just said one of two things. I've never heard of it, Jen, or, oh my goodness, I haven't thought about Lumpy Mail for so long. So what is Lumpy Mail, just in case you don't know? Well, it's mail with a lump, basically. It's snail mail, not email though. So that's, of course, mail with a lump because it's snail mail. It's the lump that gets the attention. Who doesn't want to open a parcel or a letter with a lump? But it doesn't actually have to be a lump, realistically. Some of the most successful marketing campaigns that I did back in my retail days were done in bright pink snail mail envelopes. Tell me a person who wouldn't be curious enough to open a bright pink handwritten envelope addressed directly to them. I bet you can't. Like, curiosity kills the cat. And also, who doesn't love a freebie in the mail? Hardly anyone, right? So if you're wanting something that is a marketing strategy that is 99% deliverability rate and a 100% open rate, then Lumpy Mail is your savior, or could be the best shot as far as marketing goes. And it is all about the curiosity. That's what makes it work so well. Who wouldn't open a parcel with a lump in it? Who wouldn't open a bright pink envelope? Open rate is high. Most times 100%. Curiosity gets things open. Curiosity gets the mail open and read. But of course, it's the message inside that needs to convert into the sale or whatever the goal is for it. So the lump is what will get it open and read, but it's actually what's inside that's not the lump that counts the most. So although Lumpy Mail will get you the result you want, open and read, it's not magic. What's inside has to have a really strong call to action to create whatever the action is that you want them to take. Because remember, it's Lumpy Mail, it's Lumpy Snail Mail. So there's no link to click for them to go. There's, these days, I guess you could use a QR code, which is super quick. But at the end of the day, the call to action has to be really strong because you actually need them to physically take another action. It's not as easy as just clicking on a link and going to where you want them to go. It's kind of like a Facebook paid marketing strategy. Take, for instance, a Facebook ad where you might run a traffic objective ad, but it fails to get you sales. So the traffic ad worked. It got traffic to the landing page or the website that you pointed it to, just like you asked the ad to do, but it's what was there when they landed that failed to convert them into sales. So the lump will get the envelope open, but it's the sales message and the call to action that is required to get the sale. All right, so let me give you a couple of examples of lumpy mail campaigns that I've seen done, and helped clients work on in the past, and hopefully something might inspire you. The first one was a bar of soap. It's a cold calling piece of email with the tagline, "You might not know me from a bar of soap." Boom, boom. A gold painted rock, which might say something like, "You've struck gold," having a bit of fun with perhaps a serious topic. A kitchen timer. The time is now to purchase your new cookware. A fridge magnet with cooking conversions on it, all about measuring your success for your cake decorating shop. Stress balls in the shape of an aeroplane to fly high with success in leadership. A tea bag, rest up and have a cuppa on me while you read whatever it is that you've sent them. A key to success, a key to life, a key to happiness. A calculator with the tagline, "According to my calculations, XXXXX. Balloon, it's time to blow up your belief in whatever that might be. Hammers. I really liked this one. There's two ways to solve this problem. One's with a hammer, one's with blah, whatever it is inside that business that you can solve the problem with. A Red Bull can says, "Bring it on." Quite inventive. Some donuts. I don't know. What is the tagline? Donut know what I do without you. Bit of a play on words. So there's many examples, and for loads and loads and loads more ideas, go to Pinterest and search Lumpy Mail. You'll sure to be inspired over there. But did you get inspired with maybe some of those thoughts? I think there was 12 there that I gave you. Of course, you can head to the show notes and get all those written for you, or, read them as well as listen to them. Again, show notes at socialmediamarketing.com.au/156. But let's head back from the creative part of the Lumpy Mail, in which the lump, and let's start with the why and the goals of such a marketing strategy. Having a goal and knowing what success of a campaign looks like is so important. Obviously, success will be sales if whatever you are selling, relates to the Lumpy Mail, or maybe book a call if that's the bait you're trying to get out there. Having people just reach out and appreciate the thought that went into it, community building. Or they might even share it with their socials, of course, which could be brand awareness. But you do need a goal, and you do need to measure the success of the Lumpy Mail campaign. And like I said, success isn't the lump, it's the copy that goes with it. The lumpy bit should relate in some way to the written copy that is the lump, and I've kind of given you some examples above on how you can relate the two to each other. And the copy and the entire project should be on brand for you. No use sending something that is so out of the box for you and your brand that it doesn't align with you, with your brand, or really doesn't relate to your audience. An example of that might be, for me, sending a golf ball and talking about a business mulligan. So a mulligan is a second chance to perform an action. It's a bit of a golf term, I believe. I Googled it. So if none of my clients know this as a golf term or know what a mulligan is, then sending them the golf ball is just too confusing. Like, they just wouldn't get it. And therefore I'd have to explain what it is before it would make sense, which would take away the whole purpose of the Lumpy Mail. It would kind of miss the mark. I'd be better off sending a kitchen timer saying time's up for bad marketing, and the call to action would of course be chat to me and let's get your marketing strategy sorted. So that would be very much on brand for me. So set goals, set outcomes for success, understand end goal, what the end goal is, and start with the end in mind. Like most marketing activities you do, you should always start with the end in mind, and come up with the lumpy mail concept, the action-driven copy to go with it, and test and measure. Test and measure is really important here, as it is with all marketing strategies, of course, but this one can be a little bit more costly than some, because there's the price of whatever the lump is, there's the postage, there's the printing, and there's just other costs involved that aren't involved in a lot of other marketing strategies. So it's important not to send, your lumpy mail out to 1,000 people without knowing and what result you want or what result you're going to get or deserve. So when I go through lumpy mail with clients, we often talk about doing it in increments. So perhaps picking 10% of your VIPs or your best customers, or picking 20 VIPs and best customers and send it out to them. Measure the success. And then perhaps, if it was successful, send it out to 20 of perhaps the bottom end of your funnel, so the most unengaged audience members that you have, and measure their success then, or maybe 10%, 20, 10%, and make sure it wasn't a false positive sending it to your VIPs, because they already love you. So you've got to make sure that people who don't quite love you as much are going to engage with the lumpy mail strategy as well. And if successful, then we can consider widening the net of who we send it to. If not successful, of course, we tinker, we polish, we resend, we test, we measure, we tinker, we polish, we resend. You get the concept. So are you keen? I love lumpy mail for all sorts of reasons, many of which I've already said, like 99% open rates, brand awareness, personality marketing, and of course, one of my favourites, you get to stand out from the crowd. Who does snail mail these days? If you want to stand out in a crowded and noisy marketplace, perhaps it's time to consider snail mail. The embarrassing truth of snail mail, of course, is it's one of the most underutilised marketing strategies out there, because, like I said, no one thinks about snail mail anymore. And it's very much a classic marketing strategy. And I use that in inverted commas because it's a bit old fashioned and, it's not as modern as, easy breezy digital marketing strategies. But it's great for standing out from the crowd, brand awareness, and all those other things that I just talked about. So what lumpy mail strategy can you think of for your business? What do you need more customers to do or clients to do? Start with the end in mind. I would really love to hear your thoughts about lumpy mail, or maybe you've tried something in the past. Let us know. Come into the Like-Minded Business Owners Facebook group and tell us, what lumpy mail have you done? What lumpy mail have you seen that you've actually taken the bait and, booked the call, bought the product, whatever that is? Or what have you heard today that might inspire you to think about lumpy mail as a marketing strategy? I would really love to hear your thoughts on that. Or, of course, if you want to talk about lumpy mail with me, let's book a discovery call and let's brainstorm some ideas and see where I can help you. You can book a discovery call with me by heading to my website, socialmediamarketing.com.au, and just there on the front page it says book a call with Jen. Or, of course, you can go to bit.ly/discover with Jen. And Jen, of course, has 2 N's. But guys, that's it for episode 156. I really hope you enjoyed this one. It was so much fun to talk about lumpy mail. I'd forgotten how much I did love lumpy mail, or how much I do love lumpy mail. And if you've listened to the podcast this far, then I thank you so much. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and maybe share this episode with another superstar business owner who's doing that daily grind, who might love to hear about lumpy mail as well. Or, of course, if you've got a concept or you've got an idea or you've done something, take a screenshot of it and share it on your Instagram stories or your Facebook stories and tag me. I would really love to see them as well. Massive love coming your way if you do that, or if you take 10 seconds out of your day to leave me a rating and a review wherever you're listening to this podcast. But that is it for episode 156. I will be back next week for 157. And in the meantime, if we're not already social on social, come and find me, because I can't find you because I don't know who listens to the podcast. We don't have those analytics, which is a bit of a bummer. But if we're not already friends, then come and find me on Instagram at Jen Donovan _, Facebook at Like Minded Business Owners, and of course LinkedIn as Jen Donovan. But whatever you do, remember, my small business peeps, as my opening song says, there is no point in dreaming small.
No time like the present. Tell it like you feel it, say it proud, be true, and let us see you for the star that you are. No point in dreaming small.
I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land, the Yorta Yorta people, on which I record this podcast and conduct my business today, and pay my respects to their elders, past and present. I extend this respect to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here with us today as well.